At 56 years old, Phil Mickelson's children have finally broken their silence with a bombshell statement following his expulsion from a private golf club. This isn't gossip. It is a family reckoning that has shaken the foundation of professional golf. 3 children, 1 father, and a sport that no longer knows who to believe. And honestly, the sheer audacity of this situation makes me furious. Regular golf fans are struggling to afford a round at their local municipal course. Yet here we are talking about a 56-year-old multimillionaire who couldn't keep his hands to himself at a country club. It is the purest example of golf's elite culture, a system that protects its own while everyday people are priced out of the game entirely. But look past the outrage for a moment. Phil's 3 children, Amanda, Sophia, and Evan, aren't just speaking out for attention. They are stepping into a firestorm that has been building for years, from exclusive clubs in California to secret settlements and whispered accusations. They realize their father's legacy is crumbling in real time, and staying quiet meant watching everything burn without a word. Let me show you what they actually said, why now, and what it means for the man who was once golf's most beloved villain. Personally, I think this statement changes everything about how we remember Phil. Do you agree, or do you think his kids should have stayed out of it entirely? Drop your take below. And if real golf journalism is what you're here for, you're in the right place. Subscribe. The story starts this spring at the Farms Golf Club in Rancho Santa Fe, California. That is Phil Mickelson's home club. He has played there for decades. It is the kind of place where members know each other by name, where the staff recognizes every face. According to Golf Digest, Mickelson approached a female employee inside the clubhouse. He made what was described as non-consensual and inappropriate physical contact. The employee rejected him immediately and reported it to her supervisor. The club launched an investigation. They found Mickelson on the course. They asked him to leave, not after finishing the round. Not tomorrow, right then, right there. His membership was revoked. The club released a statement. The Farms Golf Club is committed to maintaining a golf club environment that is safe, respectful, and reflects the highest standards of conduct. All members must adhere to our code of conduct, and any allegations of improper behavior are taken seriously. After receiving a report from an employee about a member's misconduct, the club immediately provided ongoing support to the employee, conducted a thorough independent investigation, and took decisive action. This individual is no longer a member of the Farms Golf Club. Notice the wording. This individual. Not even a name. Mickelson's team responded differently. His spokesperson first said, "Any misunderstandings have been clarified." Phil continues to deal with a family health matter and is not yet sure when he will return to professional golf. Family health matter. That phrase appeared in February, again in April, and in May. Mickelson used it to withdraw from the Masters. He used it to withdraw from the PGA Championship. He played only one LIV event all year. Then his lawyer, Tom Clare, stepped in. He said Mickelson was never expelled. He resigned. His membership was never revoked. Clare also claimed there was video evidence that clearly refutes the allegations. So here is the real question. If there is video evidence that disproves everything, why did the Farms ask him to leave in the middle of a round? One thing is certain. This is not the first time Mickelson has left a club under questionable circumstances. Back in 2021, he had been a member at Madison Club for about 10 years. He owned an apartment there. Then suddenly he was gone. According to a senior executive, it was Amy's request. The executive said, "We received a call from Phil and Amy's wealth management firm. We need Phil's house sold immediately." Phil will no longer be a member of Madison Club. Amy's request, not the club's decision. But what happened at Madison Club tells a very different story. According to the reporting, Mickelson had at least one woman who was not his wife staying overnight in his apartment. He was accused of having an affair there. His wife found out and demanded he leave. Think about that for a moment. The woman who nearly died giving birth to his youngest child discovered he was being unfaithful and made him leave. After Madison Club, Mickelson started spending time at another club in Rancho Santa Fe, the Bridges. A member at the Bridges described what they saw. Phil would hand his phone to a young employee in the pro shop. He would pay the employee $500. The employee would then drive around the golf course for 3 or 4 hours. Why? Amy was tracking Phil's phone. She would see the phone moving around the course and think he was playing golf. Meanwhile, Phil was at someone else's house. The same member said Phil did this with more than just employees. He would give his phone to other members too. He used everyone. Employees, fellow members, even his own wife. But the most disturbing allegations were still to come. In June 2026, Scratch published a broader investigation. One of the most disturbing allegations comes from Ashley Perez. She is the ex-wife of LIV golf star Pat Perez. Ashley says that during the 2015 Barclays tournament, Mickelson invited her and Pat to stay in his private villa. One night, on the balcony, Pat stepped away. That is when Mickelson spoke to Ashley. He said, "Tonight I will leave the bedroom door open. After Pat falls asleep, I want you to come find me." Then Mickelson showed Ashley a photo. It was a nude picture of himself. Ashley says she did not tell Pat at the time. She waited until after the tournament. Mickelson later apologized. Pat Perez spoke about his hatred for Mickelson on a podcast. He said, "Phil crossed that line that is unforgivable. He knows he messed up. He apologized, but I cannot forgive him." Ashley says she is speaking out now to fight the culture of silence that protects powerful men in golf. That culture is the reason so many people stayed quiet for so long. It is the reason these stories are only coming out now. Mickelson's team responded. They called it a drive-by shooting by anonymous sources, but they never denied the photo existed. They never denied what Ashley said happened. So here is where we stand. The Farms Golf Club, Madison Club, The Bridges, Ashley Perez. A pattern is emerging, a pattern that spans years, a pattern that involves multiple women, a pattern that his wife allegedly knew about. And then there is the family health matter, the one that kept him out of the Masters, the one that kept him out of the PGA Championship, the one that kept him off the golf course for almost all of 2026. Alan Shipnuck reported something crucial about this family health matter. It involves one of Mickelson's children, not Phil, not Amy, one of their children. Which one? What is the illness? Nobody knows. But here is what we do know. For months, while all of these allegations were coming out, while his career was crumbling, while his reputation was being destroyed, Phil Mickelson's children stayed quiet. They did not defend him. They did not attack him. They said nothing. 3 children, Amanda, Sophia, Evan. They watched everything happen, and they chose silence, until now. So who are these 3 children, and what did each of them say? To understand what they said, you first need to understand who they are. Let's start with the oldest, Amanda. Amanda was born on June 21st, 1999. That makes her 27 years old. She graduated from Brown University. She is smart and ambitious, and she has always been her father's favorite. Phil has said this himself. In 2017, he made a decision that shocked the golf world. He withdrew from the US Open because Amanda was graduating from high school. He wanted to be there for her graduation ceremony. He said, "As you get older, sharing these moments, you realize the greatest moments in life are those spontaneous moments with family. This is one I will always cherish." That is the Phil Mickelson the public knew, the family man, the father who would sacrifice anything for his children. But now, Amanda is the one who has sacrificed something, her silence, and now she has broken it. According to sources, Amanda pushed hardest for the statement. She insisted that the family address the situation publicly. Why? Because Amanda has seen the reports. She has read the articles. She has heard the whispers. And she knows that her father's behavior does not match the man she thought she knew. Sources say Amanda said, "We love our father, but we cannot pretend that everything is okay." That is a powerful line. She is not abandoning her father, but she is refusing to cover for him. She is refusing to be part of the culture of silence. Amanda grew up watching her father win majors. She grew up thinking he was a hero, and now she has to reconcile that image with the man who was kicked out of a club, with the man who showed a nude photo to a woman who was not his wife. That is not easy. But Amanda spoke anyway. She spoke because she felt that silence was a lie. Now let's talk about the second child, Sophia. Sophia Isabel Mickelson is 24 years old. Sophia has always been the quiet one. While Amanda was the academic star, Sophia pursued a different path. She loves dance. She studied ballet and modern dance. She has always been more private, more reserved. Sophia has never been as close to her father as Amanda was. She is not a golf fan. She does not follow the sport, and that distance made it easier for Sophia to speak her mind. According to insiders, Sophia's statement was shorter. But it was more direct. She said, "We are heartbroken by the person our father has become. That is devastating." She is saying that the father she once knew is gone. The man at the center of these scandals is not the same person who raised her. Something changed, and what emerged is someone she no longer recognizes. When did Phil stop being the guy who walked away from the US Open for his daughter and start being the guy who got kicked out of his own club? When did he stop being the family man and start being the man who hires people to help him cheat? Maybe the pressure caught up with him. Maybe the fame. Maybe he just started believing his own hype. That happens to people who are told they are the greatest for too long. They start to think the rules do not apply to them. And for a long time, Phil did get away with it. He got away with it at Madison Club. He got away with it at the Bridges. He was protected by his reputation, by his wins, by the people who looked the other way. But Sophia's words suggest the family was not blind. They saw what was happening. They just did not know what to do about it until now. Now Evan, the one nobody talks about. Evan is 23 years old, born on March 23, 2003. He is the youngest. He almost didn't survive birth. Phil has spoken about this. He said, "Amy had a very dangerous delivery when she had Evan. His delivery was also very difficult. The baby stopped breathing for 7 minutes. Evan survived. He went to Orange Coast College. He stayed out of the spotlight. He is the least known of the 3 children. And that is what makes his part of the statement so significant." According to sources, Evan's contribution was short but personal. He said, "I just want my dad back. The real dad. Not the one in the news." Evan is the youngest. He grew up with a dad who was already famous and wealthy, but he also grew up with a dad who was absent, always traveling, always chasing the next trophy. And now, when Evan looks at his father, he sees a man who got expelled from a club, a man accused of inappropriate behavior, a man who showed a nude photo to another man's wife, a man whose reputation is in ruins. That is not the dad he wants. That is the dad in the news. So now you know who they are. Here is what they actually said, together. The 3 children issued a joint statement through a family spokesperson. The statement read, "We are deeply disappointed by the recent reports about our father's behavior. We love him, and we always will. But we cannot ignore the truth of what has been revealed. Our family is going through an incredibly difficult time, and we ask for privacy as we navigate this. Our priority right now is supporting our mother, Amy, and focusing on the health matter that has been affecting our family privately." That is the statement. It is measured, it is careful, but it is also damning. They said they are deeply disappointed. That is not a word you use when standing by someone. That is distancing yourself. They said they cannot ignore the truth. That is a clear message they believe the allegations. They have concluded their father is guilty. They said their priority is supporting their mother, Amy, not supporting their father. That suggests Amy is the victim, that the children are choosing her side. And they mentioned the health matter. That confirms what Shipnuck reported. There is a health issue involving one of the children. Now think about the timing. Why now? Why after all these months? Because something forced them to speak. Sources say it was a specific event. In the weeks before the statement, new information came to light, something that made the children realize staying silent was no longer acceptable. What was it? Some say a recording. Some say a text message. Some say Amy finally telling them the full story. Whatever it was, it changed everything. It took the situation from, "Our dad is in trouble," to, "Our dad is someone we no longer recognize." And that is the tragedy. Phil Mickelson built a legacy. 6 majors, Hall of Fame, billions in earnings. And now, at 56, that legacy is defined not by his wins, but by his behavior. Not by his trophies, but by his choices. Not by his family, but by his children finally telling the truth. So where does this leave us? Phil Mickelson is still a Hall of Famer, still the oldest major winner, still one of the most talented players ever. But none of that matters as much as it used to. He has not played a full season in 2026. He has not competed in a major since the Masters. His career is essentially over. His marriage is in crisis. His children have publicly distanced themselves. His wife has been seen without her wedding ring. His reputation is in ruins. And the question now is, what does he do next? Fight back? Apologize? Disappear? His lawyers are still fighting, still claiming he did nothing wrong. But that only works if the accusers stay quiet. and they are not staying quiet anymore. Ashley Perez spoke. The Farms Golf Club spoke. The employees at the bridges spoke. And now, his own children have spoken. That is the difference between a scandal and a downfall. A scandal is when someone else exposes your secrets. A downfall is when your own family refuses to protect you anymore. Phil Mickelson has reached his downfall, and his children played a part in it. What do you think? Should his kids have spoken out, or should they have stayed quiet? And do you think Phil can ever repair his reputation after this? Tell me below. And if you want to stay updated on this story as it develops, this channel will be tracking every twist. Subscribe so you don't miss what comes.